hello everyone, and I told you guys I'd be here on the next day. Hope you guys enjoyed the gear change show last night. So yeah, I think this is my second vlog in a row actually, ever this year. So I'm hoping to put a few more of these together, amongst other videos. So hello everybody, welcome back to a Massachusetts Central radio show. I'm your humble host, Mike Camo, here on a Sunday. So told you guys I'd give you guys a recap. Now I watched a little bit of the Formula One Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen won, and he got the bonus point. He's the first driver to score over 1,000, to lead over 1,000 laps in a season. So, and the Red Bull RB19 has won 21 of 22 races. It has gotten 30 podiums, well, because the drivers and stuff like that. And I think it has like 11 fast laps. So pretty fast, pretty dominant car. It actually, now that the season's done, it actually surpasses the McLaren M4/8 or /4/8, driven by Prost and Senna, which won 15 out of 16 races in 1988, year before I was born. And sort of nearing the end of the Senna dominance in Formula One. So, the race was boring because Max Verstappen won. To a lot of people, that'd be boring, but I think it's pretty cool that we're seeing a race car be so dominant. Maybe other teams will take notice and make the cars better for next year. So, sorry if you guys saw my hand for a couple of seconds. So yeah, Max Verstappen. My thoughts on the Formula One season this year. I thought it was actually pretty interesting, considering, they were supposed to run 23 races this year. Unfortunately, one got canceled because of some massive flooding. The one they were supposed to run at Imola. So this season was actually pretty cool. Ferrari looked like it was gonna challenge for a little bit. Thought Mercedes was going to do something, and it didn't. Some takeaways from this year. Ferrari is definitely coming back. McLaren is definitely coming back in force. They were like in the top 5. They were like in the top 10 a lot this year. McLaren switching back to Mercedes was definitely a great move. Ferrari, I'm a little disappointed. I thought they could have actually, they actually had a good car early in the season. I thought they could have challenged. They had a couple pole positions. I thought they could have challenged this year. I'm a little disappointed that Mercedes isn't in the picture anymore. They just scrapped to a second in the Constructors' Championship, and Max Verstappen has the most points this year at 590. And the biggest margin is at 290 for the gap between first and second in the World Championship. So yeah, that's kind of good. So we have, so you have your winners for your championships this year. You have your winners for the championships this year. So you have your winners for your championships this year. So you have Cadillac winning in GTP. You have LMP2. I'm not going to do LMP2 because it sucks. Lexus wins in LMP2, and BMW wins in GTD. GTD Pro goes to goes to Lexus, and then you have GTD, which goes to BMW. And then in NASCAR, you have, actually, who won the NASCAR Cup? Because I didn't even watch half of it. Was it Larson? I forget. Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney won by 1 point over Kyle Larson. I remember that. So Ryan Blaney for Penske won over. Alex Palou won the. Alex Palou ended up winning the IndyCar Championship again. Joseph Newgarden ended up winning the Indy 500 for. The Indy 500 for the captain. I remember you guys watch me. I do this in front of the camera a couple of times when I'm cheering on Joseph Newgarden. Joseph Newgarden, he's going to win number 19 for the captain. Remember that? And then Verstappen won the Monaco Grand Prix. Or did Perez? I forget. No, I think Verstappen won the Monaco Grand Prix. You guys can correct me on that. And then Corvette, and then in World Endurance, Toyota won the Hypercar Championship. Sad face, but they're the better team. LMP2 I don't care about because it's an ARCA spec class. It sucks. GTE AM was obviously won by the Corvettes. They won a world championship this year, which I'm grateful for. Corvette won something this year. They came close in the team championship in GTD Pro, but having them win the world championship versus Porsche, Ferrari, and everybody else was very big. Seeing them win Le Mans was very big. Seeing Ferrari win Le Mans was very big. So, and I can't forget Ferrari winning Le Mans for the first time in 50 years, and the mechanics singing Fratelli d'Italia, Fraternity of Italy, at the top of their lungs, rather than it was, it's nice to see them sing Fratelli d'Italia, rather than the Japanese just sitting there like, the Japanese, like, we've conquered the world with our intelligent might. It was so nice to see that, rather than it's nice to see the Italians sing their national anthem this year. We also had Ferrari overcome the German juggernaut at the Nürburgring 24, setting a lap record in the process, 162 laps. We got to see that. We also got to see. I got to win the spot 24 because I wasn't paying attention. Road racing, Marco Whitman. That would be BMW. BMW won the spot 24 in their BMW M4 GT3. So yeah, it was a very action-packed racing, and of course Max Verstappen topping it all off at the end of the year with his most dominant season to date. I think 24 is going to be interesting. So they have 2 more years to go on their engine deal with Honda. So Verstappen probably could win another 2 world championships, although I think Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes and Aston Martin are going to have the Mercedes powered teams are going to have a response next year. I think their challenge is going to be very strong. I'm hoping for a tight season next year, so So maybe Verstappen might have to wait for number 4. Although I think Verstappen wants a challenge, not to win more championships. I think he considers him winning championship after championship and no challenge kind of hollow. So, and I feel for him. I feel for your pain, Max. So, you kind of want to achieve stuff, but you don't want to make it feel hollow. So, Motorsport. Let's just call this a gear change show part 2. Part 2 the next day. So, I also want to talk about, how, how everything went. I know I'm not going to talk about the Rolex 24 or the 12 Hours of Sebring, because those are kind of minute races. Those kind of were kind of controversial, kind of weird on how everybody won, because there was a crash at Sebring, and then Meyershank Racing ended up winning the race because their tire pressures weren't good, even though it's shame on the engineer that did it, not the whole team. But the whole team is kind of, Meyer not catching it, so we're not going to talk about that. They would have won the championship this year if they hadn't had that screw up, so that would have been great for Acura to be back on top. So yeah, we had a pretty interesting racing year this year. I also had a very interesting this year. Kind of the highlight of my racing season, was actually going to the Watkins Glen 6 Hour for the first time. I'm going back next year, so we know what to do and what not to do when we go down and go up there. So and I don't know when we're going to be leaving. I'm going to chronicle the trip. I've got my GoPro that will be ready and stuff like that. So what are my thoughts about the racing season in general? I thought it was actually pretty cool. We got to see some bursts, and we got to see some records shattered. I mean, come on, at Le Mans 2023, did you guys ever think you guys would see a NASCAR stock car on the track and it outpacing the GTE cars ever by like 2 seconds? Neither did I. So that's pretty good. Oh yeah, that's the biggest highlight of this year. NASCAR stock car running at Le Mans. I'm not going to show you guys any footage because I get copyrighted, but you guys can type in NASCAR Camaro Le Mans passing cars. Yeah, and there's a video with Freebird, with one of the drivers passing a LMP2 car at speed, while coming off a corner and going in a straight line. The NASCAR stock car's natural habitat. So, yeah, I thought this racing series, this year racing wise, was pretty amazing. December doesn't really host too many races, although January is usually the hotbed for that, unless there's a race, actually. Hey Siri, can you look up the date for the 2024 Bathurst 12 Hour?
I found this on the web.
Bathurst 12 Hours is going to be February, so I can't. So yeah, so I think we're done with racing. So what I think of this year, I thought it was very diverse. We got to see Penske win big this year. We got to see him win the Indy 500. We got to see him win the NASCAR championship for the first time. I think this is like the third time in like 4 years or something like that. He's won the NASCAR Cup. Not that I'm surprised, because the old boy knows how to win. So, Toyota had an interesting championship this year was not very close. It wasn't very spread out. It wasn't very dominant like it was last year. Like, they actually had some opposition. There was some great racing. The new GTP category got off to a really decent start, and it was a hit with the fans. I certainly liked it. So, watching the cars drive off the corners with their hybrid drive at Watkins Glen. Watching the NASCAR season was definitely a cool one. Most IMSA series racing was pretty interesting this year. I got to see it. Actually, first milestone. I actually got to see my first races, my first racing sessions with wet weather tires. Usually I watch everything in its dry. So, So we got to see wet weather racing. I got to see wet weather racing for the first time this year on a dry track, and it was awesome. So I got to see my first winner that was disqualified. The Penske car got disqualified after we watched it going to victory lane. And it's the first time I think I've ever seen a race winner get disqualified, and I've been at the track when it was disqualified. Been at the venue that it was disqualified at. It's the first for me. So yeah, everything's all hunky-dory in the racing world. So yeah, I just wanted to re-up on certain things and do whatever. So, but yeah, I thought I'd just give you guys a little recap on what I thought about the racing year this year. You guys will know me. I do the State of the Channel address early to mid-December. Life is good. Life is very good. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.